All right, hello and welcome everybody to the second annual Delagoon Disc Golf Challenge, driven by Innova. Also, various sponsors pitched in as well. Huge thanks to Dynamic Disc. Big thank you to Outstate Brewery here in Fergus. And then, a whole list of absolutely wonderful people that love to see the sport of disc golf grow. So, thank you to Cast Clay Disc Golf Club, Tri-State Inspection, the Fish Factor here in Fergus as well. They'll be at the brewery on Saturday night for you guys. And then Live Wide Open, visit Fergus Falls. And then Disc Diva Laser Diva will be doing the trophies again this year. Huge thank you to those guys. Those always come out very, very nice. So that about wraps it up. Rapid Corporations as well is throwing in an extra $100 for some added cash for the pros and stuff. So and thank you to all of you guys for coming out. Without you guys, this isn't possible. We're just gonna give a brief rundown of what's going on, some general things, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Steve Hardyman, the assistant TD. I'm Brett Birch. I'm the tournament director. If I haven't met you yet or anything, I look forward to that. But so just to start it off with check-in and registrations that are going on, we have early registration on Friday, and then Saturday, if you aren't able to make it in Friday, Saturday, I need you guys to check in half an hour before your tee time. Please be prompt with that. We need to be able to make sure and stay ahead of the game and send people out accordingly to their tee times. So if there needs to be any adjustments made, please get in touch with me and we will go from there. Secondly, warm-up areas for once everybody starts playing the course. Once that first card leaves, you guys are not allowed to practice on the course. So there's plenty of other areas, soccer fields, etc., things like that we need you to stick to. Don't be on the course playing when people are coming up. Thank you for that in advance. Other than that, basic general rules: be prompt, be on time, be aware and be respectful of people's social distancing measures. Once again, we'll be doing some scoring on UDisc, but we will have a paper card as well as the backup. If somebody's phone dies out there or something like that, we need to make sure to have scores. So we'll be doing both. We'll be teaming it with UDisc and a paper card. All right. Yeah, like I said, just I'll reiterate the social distancing. With your check-ins, stay away from other people. We're gonna have it set up where you can see your players pack discs, things like that. We'll be sending out the OB list and other information via email shortly after we do this video. So look out for those, and then we'll see y'all out here.
Hey, I'm Steve Hardyman. I'm the assistant TD, and I get the joy of dealing with the rules. So if there's any rules things come up, find me somewhere out there. To start with, all PDGA rules are going to be in effect, which means no alcohol during your round, no illegal drugs. Those are automatic DQs on both of those, and all the other rules you should have in your book. But I'm going to cover some rules because we've got one rule that you've probably never seen at any other tournament. And a lot of you have never played this tournament. Unless you were here last year, you haven't played this tournament, so you need to pay attention to this. We will have a rules list posted online, and each group will have a rules list when they go out. But first off, everyone is going to be throwing from the long tees. We're not going to be using the short tees at all. If you throw OB, and here's where the rule comes in. If you throw out of bounds, there are three choices on what to do. First choice, the first two choices are ones you're familiar with. You can throw from where it went out of bounds. The group agrees on where it went out. You throw from there with a one-stroke penalty. Second choice, you go back to where you threw from, whether that's the tee box or where your mark was. That's your second choice, and you'd agree on where the mark was if it was that. So you can go back to there, and it's still a one-stroke penalty. Third choice, and this one you probably haven't seen before, is you can pick the point that is closest to inbounds to your disc. This is rule, so those of you that doubt this is really a rule, it's rule 806.02 D5 in the PDGA rulebook. This is a real rule, just most people don't use it. I like it for three reasons. One, speed of play. If you're out of bounds, you don't have to search for it, decide you're out of bounds, and then go back and find out where you went out and throw from there. Two, it encourages you to take the chance. You'll throw over the OB because it's only a one-stroke penalty. It's not a stroke plus distance. it's a 1-stroke penalty if you end up 2 feet from inbounds. You get to play it up there, it just costs you the 1 stroke for that. So there's the second reason. Third reason is, I don't remember my third reason. The third reason was, well, it takes out the argument on where did it go OB on that one, and there is a third reason, and I'll come up with that in a while. But those are my main 2 reasons on that. All 3 choices had 1-stroke penalty. The 2-meter rule is not in effect. Brett wanted to put that in. I like the rule myself, but we knew some of you would never come back again. So the 2-meter rule is not in effect. All ponds and ball fields on the course are out of bounds. If there's water in a ditch, like on hole 1, 5, 16, 17, occasionally there's water in the ditch that is casual water, you can take relief with no penalty straight away from the basket to the nearest dry point, and you get that without a penalty. Let's see, on holes 1 and 22, this is mostly for the juniors or the recreational players. If you do not think you can clear the OBs, you have the option to go to the drop zone. You're throwing 3. So it's just like if you threw the disc out OB and then took the penalty stroke and went there, you'd be throwing OB. So it's the same thing, you just save that disc. So you don't have to try to throw over the OB if you don't want. Most people will not take that option, but the option is there. You can go there and throw 3 from there. Now I'm gonna go through each one individually, each hole real quick, but you will have this list. On hole 1, which is kind of where we're standing, there's a bunch of reeds and long grass between the tee box and the basket. Those reeds are out of bounds. We'll have that marked. If you're OB, follow those OB rules. Or you can go to if you lose it in there, you can go to the drop zone. You don't have to throw from right behind those weeds. You can go past it. It saves some time rather than having to walk all the way back around after you found out your OB and walk all the way back around the reeds. You take it from the drop zone, which will be on the other side of the reeds. If you're in the ditch, play directly behind your lie. If you're in the water, in the ditch. Hole 2, the long grass around the pool, around the pond, is OB. The water's OB, and the road on or across the road is OB. Hole 3, both sides. This is the only hole where both sides of the road are safe. The road itself is OB. If you're surrounded by asphalt, you're out of bounds, and you can take the nearest point or the point where it went out, either one. But the road itself is OB. Both sides are safe. Hole 4's got a ball field. It's on or across the road in the parking lot. Usually those do not come into play. The rocked sign area is OB. Most of those will not come into play. Easiest hole on the course. Hole 5, on or across the road. That happens a lot. The ball field probably never happens, but those are OB. Number 6, the ball field and the long grass way left. That probably won't happen. The ball field does happen frequently. The long grass left and long does not happen, but those are OB. Hole 7, the long grass on the right and the grass behind the basket are both OB. And if somehow you manage to throw into the ball field, I don't know how that would happen, but that would be OB. Hole 8, the long grass on the right side and short of the basket. So you can throw over that grass, but all that grass is OB. It'll be marked on or across the road is OB. Hole 9, on or across the road, surrounded by water, are all out of bounds. On hole 10, on or across the road, I recommend sending a spotter up the hill because there is long grass on the left. It's not out of bounds on hole 9, but it's easy to lose a disc up there. So send a spotter up to the top of the hill before you throw that drive so that you know where that thing is. Hole 11, on or across the road is OB, and the long grass. That's a new rule. The long grass on hole 11 will be OB. So anything on the left, long grass, OB. Take the closest inbound spot or where you went out or re-tee it. Hole 12, surrounded by water. There's casual relief. There's a pit where they dug out a tree a couple of years ago and that pit's never been filled in. If you're down in that pit, you can go down there and throw, which I saw Doug Bjerkes do last year, or you can take free relief directly behind the pit, directly away from your disc from the basket. Hole 13, the only hole on the course with no OB, but that doesn't mean it's an easy hole. Hole 14, the left edge of the post. There's posts along the left edge of the hole, the left side of those posts. So if you're in between the posts, you're okay. The left edge of the post is OB, on or across the road is OB. Hole 15, there's a mando between the telephone poles. If you miss the mando, you go to the drop zone, which is the short tee. The short tee's past the mando. The left edge of the posts again is OB. The big bush on the left after the poles end, that's OB. On or across the road is OB. Surrounded by water behind the basket is OB. Lots OB on that one, so watch that hole. Hole 16, on or across the road, surrounded by water. Again, I'd recommend a spotter. They have that pretty well mowed this year, so it shouldn't be too easy to lose a disc, but it's not a bad idea to put a spotter up there. Hole 17, on or across the road, is OB. Hole 18, the ball field or surrounded by water. The long grass is safe on hole 18, but surrounded by water. Another one, you probably want to send a spotter up to the right so they can see if you're going in the long grass or if you made the water, so you've got an idea where to look. Hole 19, the ball field is OB. There's a mando between the trees. If you miss those two trees, they're right in front of the box. If you miss that mando, you re-tee with the 1-stroke penalty. Hole 20, there is water on the right. It's hard to get to, but it's possible. The woods are safe, so anything up there is safe. A spotter's not a bad idea on that hole. Hole 21, I've never seen it happen, but there is water way to the right. I don't think you're going to hit it, but if you do, it's OB. 22, on or across the road, is OB. Surrounded by water is OB. If you're in the long grass, if you lose your disc in the long grass, you can follow the rules that we had before, or you can opt to use the short pad as a drop zone. Which, if you cannot find the disc, you have that option to go into the short pad instead of going back to the original tee pad. So you can use the short pad as a drop zone if you lose your disc in the long grass. The short pad is right by the road. And on that one also, if you don't think, the Rex and the juniors, if you don't think you can clear that, you can walk to the short pad, throw 3 from there, and don't worry about losing a disc. 23, soccer field and surrounded by water. So the long grass is safe on 23. Hole 24 and 25, the soccer field and the long grass on the right. It'll save you a ton of looking if we make that OB rather than have everybody climb in there. Because if you're out of bounds, your card does not all have to go down that hill to look for your disc. You decide where it went out. If you don't find it, you go with where it went out or back to where your last throw was from. You need to be able to find it to use that closest inbounds point. 26, the soccer field, the long grass on the right, the neighbor's tree line. We'll probably have some flags up along there. That's all OB. Hole 27 is new this year because they put in they're putting in a BMX track. So the hole moved, the tee box is over closer to the water. You've got a couple of options. You could do a hyzer, a righty hyzer over the water, or go straight up the gut. Now, if you go up do the hyzer route, send a spotter so they can see where that comes in or whether it doesn't come in, where your disc ended up. The concrete near the basket is safe, but the concrete by the pavilion is OB, and on top of the pavilion is OB. And out over the water, anything in the water obviously is OB. And that goes through, I think, everything we've got. We're using tee times, again, like Brett said, so no practice on the course once the first tee time is off. You cannot use the course, and use UDisc for your scores. We highly recommend it. It's a lot easier for the TD. It makes scoring a lot easier. That's official, but still use a scorecard just in case something goes wrong. We've got a scorecard. So one person uses their phone, the other people trade off the scorecard. And I think that covers it. Now, on the new rule, those of you that haven't done it and those that have, I encourage you after the tournament, not before the tournament, after the tournament, find me and let me know what you think of that rule. I think it's a great rule. Saves time, encourages the risk, encourages you to take chances. I think it's a great rule. But let me know what you think of it. And that's it for me.
All right, thanks, Steve. Give him a hand. But just to wrap up things and reiterate a couple of things, pace of play is pretty big at the tournament here. It's a big course. We want to keep people, distance well. So please keep in mind you have 3 minutes to look for a lost disc, and that is once everybody starts looking. But the closest inbound point rule should mitigate a lot of that, but just please be aware of that. The pace of play, watching each other's shots, things of that go a long way to keeping the whole thing rolling. It's a long course, bring some snacks, things like that. Be prepared. We will also have water porta potty stations set up at a couple points throughout the course, so just have that in mind. But yeah, do your regular prep work, be ready, be prepared, and then keep in mind 3 minutes to look for a lost disc, and how Steve mentioned we're using on hole 1 and hole 22, we are using that as a drop zone. So if you lose your disc on land and can't find it, then you still go to the drop zone instead, in lieu of going back to re-tee like you usually would have to do. And then just for a lot of the beginner recreational side that haven't been around it a lot, for those of you that are familiar with the rules, such as falling putts, things like that, just please keep them up to speed, and teach them what's going on. But when you're inside 33 feet, you have to maintain and demonstrate balance after you throw until your disc is at rest in the basket or in the chains. So as soon as you hit 34 feet, boom, you can step forward once you putt. So it's basically that simple. We'll have everything marked, set up really well for you guys, so hopefully there isn't a lot of questions. But once again, thanks again for coming to the second annual Delagoon Disc Golf Challenge, and we'll see you soon.